Hi, my name's Nancy, and this is my home here in Santa Cruz on the west side. We had a fire on the 10th of September at 10:30 at night, and my daughter, who's 23, and her two babies, my grandson and granddaughter, were in the house. My oldest son was in the house, and my youngest son, who was 17, was out on a bike ride and happened to hear the fire trucks coming and followed them and didn't know it was coming to his own home. And he showed up right after the firemen were all here. And anyway, this is what's left of the fire. Everything's pretty much, we're going through what we could get out of the house. Everything's pretty much smoke damaged. All our furniture and everything is pretty much smoke damaged or burnt. The back end of the house is completely burned off. That's the worst part of the house at the time. It started in the laundry room. The firemen told us they thought it was a crimped wire to the dryer. I was drying some clothes and getting ready to go to bed that night, and I had my grandson in my bedroom. He was sleeping in my spot, and I was sitting next to him in the chair up by the bed and watching him sleep, and all of a sudden I heard this yelling, and my oldest son Manny came running up the stairs and fire, fire, you know, and I just, it was like a horrible, horrible dream. I mean, I think about it now, and I can remember his face, and it was just terror, just stark terror. And we just started grabbing the my 2-year-old granddaughter and my 3.5-year-old grandson, my little dog, and ran to the car, got my daughter in the car, drove her to the corner, and then ran back to the house, and then watched it burn. And the fire department was just coming in at that time. This is it. We've been going through this for just a little over a week now, and we've been to the Red Cross and Salvation Army, and they've been kind enough to give us to give me and my son a place to stay for a few nights. But I'm unemployed and lost my job in May after 12 years of working for this company, and it's just been really rough. Hi, this is little Piggy. Piggy was in the fire with me the night on September 10th, and I was lucky to be able to grab her and get my grandson out of the house and run, and my daughter got the other baby, and we ran to the car. But everything you see here is stuff we're going through and throwing away, and we're taking dump load after dump load to the dump, and it's really hard to see your whole life that you've gathered all these things in your life, and they're all going, they're gone, you know, it's just like that. But you know, the best thing about it is we all lived through it. All my kids, I have 3 children and 2 grandbabies, and they were all here except for my youngest. And and have a bunch of cats, and we only lost 1 kitty and 2 goldfish in the fire. But thank God, you know, we're all alive. These are some of the pictures and things that were not damaged badly in the fire. I've been going through a lot of it. A lot of it was wet, and you could see some of the pictures, but not very well. All of our family portraits, everything that was on the wall, most of the paperwork is wet and damaged and done. And we were very lucky to be able to have these things that we've brought out and we're going through now is things that some of them I haven't seen in years. It's like reliving all this again, you know, and seeing all these photos, and some of them we had to throw away, but some of them we still have, you know.
We moved into this place back in '91 after basically having to jump all over the county, going to do different schools every 2 years, you know, not being very settled. And finally, my grandmother and grandfather bought this place for my mother and me and my little sister at the time, and my little brother was coming along. He's actually born here in this house. Well, not here, but you know, in the area when we moved here. I finally got to, you know, stay in one place and go to school, finish my elementary, junior high, and high school all here in the area. I made a lot of friends, and I graduated from Santa Cruz High, and I went to the Marine Corps. I did my 4 years honorably, and I got out before the invasion of Iraq. I came back home. You know, I was going to re-enlist, but my mom needed help. You know, she's getting older, and you know, there's a lot of work to be done. And so I came back home. You know, I stayed in for a while. You know, I moved into the area, back and forth, on various jobs and whatnot, and ended up getting moving back here for the last time after my mom lost her job. So I've been here trying to get the house back in order and organize everything, and help her get rid of things that she no longer needed, and just help around. You know, be a little bit of supportive and whatnot. But my sister and brother, they're having problems right now, and just not exactly a whole lot of help to Mom. So, what else is there?
How did this become? How did this happen?
After we were starting to get everything squared away and get everything lapped back on track, one night I was after a long day of working and whatnot, I was sleeping in my room over here that I had set aside, and all of a sudden it was really hot, really hot in the room. When it woke me up, it was so hot. No smoke or anything, just really hot. So I got up, and I was groggy, and all of a sudden I hear a crackling noise like you would associate with a fireplace or something. And all of a sudden my mind snapped from groggy to alert. I opened the door over here, and straight in my face, fire and smoke, and power was out. I couldn't see anything, so I opened the other door, which I don't know if it was in hindsight such a great idea, but I yelled to my mom and everybody in the house, "There's a fire, get everybody out, wake up, you know, call the fire department, get out." And then I ran upstairs to get a fire extinguisher, which was hilariously small. It was about this big and about that wide. I didn't really know how much I could do with it, but after I opened this door and ran upstairs, I think that gave it the breath of life that it needed. And the fire had already covered over half the room and was coming towards me when I came back through the door. So instead of turning around and running back out that way, I opened the door to my room, and I shut the door because the fire was starting to skitter across the ceiling. And then I didn't realize it at the moment, but the power in my room had been cut as well. So I spent a good minute and a half choking down smoke in the black, not able to see, and I couldn't feel where the door handle was, so I got a pretty good sense of panic out of that. I finally got the door open, and the only thing that I could save out of my room before the fire crews came through was my computer, which has 15 years of pictures and pretty much the only thing I could think to grab at the time. So after that, the fire just came right out of the laundry room, right into the room that you see right now, made its way up through the window into my mother's room, and just basically had its way with everything from there. Just completely fried this portion of the house, everything that was in it. All my tools that I had painstakingly gathered together, you know, to help get the house back on track and whatnot. I had 3 cases that completely melted into each other. That was fun digging through that. Yeah. But that's where we're at today.